This video involves about 4,000 miles of driving, a ram, several campsites, a secret government facility, and a small herd of sheep. A couple very nice sheep. Okay, so for this video, I want to do something a little bit different. Let's give this a go. Okay, before we get into this video, I just want to preface this by saying that the US government has changed some laws, saying that YouTubers now need to get a commercial filming permit in order to film and post it on YouTube in national parks. Basically, it would cost me a lot of money and it would be a lot of headaches just to film this dumb little video. So I did not visit any national parks in this video. I allegedly visited some significant places across our great nation, but none of them were national parks. Okay, let's get into it. Jorge, no. You can't play with that, buddy. Bud, you can't play with that lav mic. No biting the lav mic, Jorge. I'm gonna lock you in the room, bud. You're still playing with it. I gotta carry Jorge away. Oh no, I'm sorry. So a couple weeks ago, me and Ashley left our 3 cats and started off on a road trip towards Arizona. 16-hour drive today. We stopped in New Mexico first at a place that is very white and full of sand. It was actually really nice out, so we had a quick lunch and then headed out on the dunes. We got a sled and attempted to sled down the dunes.
It doesn't want to go. Come on! Yay! It's hard to walk up this. What if I go down like face first? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that didn't work super well, but maybe we just needed some taller and steeper dunes. So we headed out further into this white desert, and we eventually got the strategy down.
Oh yeah. Woo!
See, the problem was that we were not spreading out our weight enough on the surface of the sled, and thus the forces applied were too pinpoint upon the particles that were supposed to act as a fluid underneath us, and spreading out created a rift in the space-time continuum, causing us to slide into a portal that transported us to a campground in the
Cibola National Forest. It's just a place for us basically to spend the night rather than sleeping in the car. Nice little spot. Pretty cool.
It was a nice little campground. It was completely free. We made some dinner, went on a short hike, and to be honest, I kind of want to go back to that Cibola National Forest and do a short backpacking trip because it was a pretty sweet place. The next morning came, we packed up all of our stuff and headed out down this long, bumpy road out of this national forest. But that was not nearly as bad as it was going to get. Dramatic pause, foreshadowing future events. So we drove almost like 4 hours all the way to a forest that is full of petrified wood, if you get my drift. So this place was pretty sweet. It's been on my list for quite a while, and I just couldn't believe that there was a place that was fully covered in petrified wood just all over the place. And like actual logs that had turned into stone all over the ground. We went to a handful of overlooks, we did a few hikes there, one down in kind of like the Badlands area, one where you got to see these crazy guys hanging out, along with actually go down to where the petrified wood actually is and see it up close. One log was about as wide as Ashley is tall. It must have been a massive tree. But this place isn't one that you spend a lot of time at. You walk around, do a hike, see some of the overlooks, and just kind of drive through. Don't get me wrong, it's a super cool place, and I 100% recommend going there, but it's just not one that I'm going to make like a dedicated trip back to. So we left there and headed out towards the Coco Nino National Forest, which is between Flagstaff and Sedona, Arizona, where we were supposed to stay in a cabin for 2 nights. Remember that dramatic pause foreshadowing future events? We ended up here.
Ugh, Jesus.
come on, get me up there, baby. Jesus. Me and Ashley are now in a hotel. So right now we're supposed to be in a cabin way up in the Coconino National Forest, and we didn't know really what we were getting ourselves into because the road all the way out there on some county road was start off pretty rocky. We thought we could handle it, no big deal, and we turned onto a different road, and it was basically like driving through a swamp the whole time. We went pretty far. We got actually 5 miles in out of the 15 we were supposed to go, and just max stress the entire time between trying not to get the car stuck, trying not to hit something, trying not to break something, driving through the forest. Like there were times we'd have to go off of the road that was completely soaked in mud and water and drive into the forest to go around these. And it just kept on getting worse and worse. I got to a point where we were literally going to have to cross a creek with my Outback. And that's when we decided to call it, because it was not a smart decision to keep on going. So we made the decision to turn around. We were supposed to be in a cabin. Instead, we're in a hotel for the night. If we would have kept on going, we probably would be sleeping in the back of the car in the middle of the forest with zero service, potentially stuck. And that would have sucked, so. There were ruts in this rock and dirt road that was carved into the forest. This was basically a fire road. And these ruts were about 2 feet deep and filled with water. We nearly got stuck a couple times, but thankfully we made it out without any issues. But our plans for the cabin were no more. So the next day was our longest hike and the most elevation we would do in one single hike. We drove a little closer to Sedona and did the Wilson Mountain Trail, which is that guy right there. It was just over 12 miles and up about 3,000 feet, and we saw a few more of those crazy little guys. It was blazing sun the entire time, but the views from up top was 100% worth it. Since we did not have the cabin, we had to go find a campsite, and luckily we got the very last campsite in one of the campgrounds. Doing good, Ashley.
Thanks.
Got it. Ashley, look at this.
What?
My foot.
Oh my god.
It looks like I'm wearing socks still. We had one more day in the Flagstaff and Sedona area. So we did one more hike, and that was the Cathedral Rock Loop, which was super cool. It was sweet to get to the top and walk around there, but by the end we were both pretty exhausted from hiking. And it was blazing sun the whole time. Us Wisconsinites are not really used to that blazing sun. At least not me and my Scandinavian little butt, where Ashley, she thrives in blazing sun. But this was our last day in the Coconino National Forest, so we headed to a canyon that is so vast and so deep and so wide, the only word to describe it is grand. So we woke up at about 4 a.m. and went to go see the sunrise over the canyon rim, which was super cool to see, but it was 42 degrees Fahrenheit, which was super cold for the desert. I didn't really expect that. And even though me and Ashley were really pooped from the already like 30 miles that we have hiked, we did an entire rim trail out and then down about 1,000 feet into the canyon. Oh yeah, and this is where the ram comes in. He was just kind of like hanging out up there, being a good boy, just watching all the hikers. It was kind of goofy to see him. We walked all the way out there, turned around and walked back, and it ended up being like 11 miles in several hours, which we didn't really plan for, but it was fun. It was a good time. And finally, we were able to just like chill in our campsite. In this entire trip, we hadn't had a chance to just like hang out inside our campground. This was like our 5th day now, and every single day was just like get up, go and drive for 4 hours, go see a place, drive for a few more hours, set up your campsite, eat, and then go to bed. And then wake up in the morning tomorrow, pack everything up, and do it all over again. So it was just like go, go, go the whole time. And it's kind of nice to just like hang out in a campground for a little while. And we, before this, our 5th day, hadn't really had the chance to do that. Granted, we were supposed to be in a cabin for 2 nights, but as you know, that did not work out. Anyway, the next day we did another hike down into the canyon. This time we went down about 2,500 feet, which was cool to actually get like halfway into the canyon. I would like to go back and do a 1 or 2 night backpacking trip down to the bottom of the canyon and then back up just to actually see the bottom, but that'll be something for the future. Finally, we were on our way back towards Wisconsin, but we stopped in Colorado. Now this next location is where people hundreds or thousands of years ago built literal cities into the cliffs. And these cliff dweller cities were built on cliffs that resembled green tables. I'm not sure if you want to Google translate that to Spanish, but it was a super cool place. Been there once when I was like 14, but this was Ashley's first time being there, and it's crazy to actually go down and see what these people would have lived like in these cliffs. It is a phenomenal thing that these people did hundreds or thousands of years ago. I definitely suggest going there just to get a glimpse of what life was like for them. Alas, we packed up and headed to our final location. One last campground, and I usually shoot for a state park or a national forest or a national park campground, but we didn't have any reservations ahead of time, and being Memorial Day weekend, everything was filled up, so we had to settle for a private campground. And this one actually was pretty nice. This was basically their farm, and this is where the sheep come in, but it was along this cool river, and it actually was a pretty nice campsite. The bathroom was a little rough, but at least there was a bathroom. So the final place of significance that we went to is a place that I have never been to before, but Ashley has visited 3 times now. It was another canyon, and while this canyon cannot be described as grand, it was super steep. Basically straight down 2,000 if not 3,000 feet. And the color of the rock was so dark that it was black. And at the bottom of this canyon was a river that is allegedly called the Gunnison. Now I know that not many people know of this place, but I cannot suggest it anymore. While this isn't the largest area, it is such a drastic change in scenery, and every single overlook was amazing to see. Oh yeah, and there is this dam at the bottom that is fully locked off by the government from anyone getting to. There is a tall barbed wire fence, there are security cameras around, and you can barely see the dam that's out there. There's definitely like alien technology in there or some sketchy stuff going on inside. But our final day was coming to a close. We got back to our campsite and finally got to go see the sheep.
Oh man. Hello, sheep.
Stop it.
Hey, what's going on? Hello.
Oh, okay.
Hello, sheeps. Oh, look at you.
Hi.
What are you doing? You are just fluff. What you doing, sheep? Over here. Hello.
That guy's friendly.
You are a friendly one. You're a good sheep. You're a good sheep.
I have a shirt made out of you.
It was actually a very fun end of the day. We hung out at the campsite, I wrecked Ashley in chess a few times, but she ended up beating me in Yahtzee 7 out of 8 times. I'm still pretty mad about it. But this was the final night of the trip. The next morning, we just got up, packed up everything, said goodbye to the sheep, and headed out across the country back towards Wisconsin, with one stop in Omaha, Nebraska, and then a last 7.5 hour drive back home. Overall, both me and Ashley had such an amazing time on this trip. It was, I think, the longest road trip that I have taken, and we drove nearly 4,000 miles. This is the kind of thing that I live for. Getting to see different parts of the country, hiking to the top of a mountain, and into the depths of a canyon. And while I love where I live in Milwaukee, it gets to be a little dull living in so much concrete for so long. Road trips are such an amazing way of seeing the natural wonders that our country has. There are too many amazing places within a few days drive or even a few hours drive to miss out on. So if I were to leave you with something in this video, it's to go out and make your own adventure and go see some of the amazing places that the United States has or even your own country has. And also, I want to say if you've made it this far in this video, thank you so much for watching. A lot of time and a lot of effort went into making this video, and I genuinely appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to listen to me and hear about this fun trip of mine. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of my life, these adventures, road trips, camping, product reviews, please consider subscribing. While I know it doesn't really seem like it does anything, but it really does make a difference for me and really helps me out in my YouTube career. So again, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.